Monroe was right. We go back to court. Most of my original argument's now worthless.
What about finding cheap expert witnesses? I know, cheap witnesses, cheap testimony.
My eyes are shut. You need to be a doctor, not a lawyer, to try this type of case.
You have protease inhibitors highlighted. Why?
Well, that's the therapy they refused to pay for. It was experimental then, now it's in common usage.
What are these other drugs?
Combinations of drugs, they call them cocktails. But that came later, after Steve was already gone.
Look, it says here that it was later proved that protease-based combination therapy effectively put the brakes on viral replication.
It did, but it didn't cure anybody, just stopped it for a while. But Rene, that was after Steve passed away.
That if not entirely, it at least postponed for as long as possible the killer infections of late-stage AIDS.
And that's what Steve had.
Odessa! Get Monroe. He's working out of the Steadicare insurance offices.
Do we have something?
We just might. We got 25 names out of the phone book, type them up on our letterhead, make it look official.
You got it.
Odessa! Get Monroe!
What do we do next?
Tell him I want to meet. Completely alone this time.
The original verdict of $1.5 million must be paid by 10 a.m. Monday. Didn't you try this strategy with me before and lose?
It's a signed stipulation for a new trial. Sign it, and we retry the case.
You're willing to risk $1.5 million. Okay. What do you got?
Sign the stipulation and we do battle. But if we do, I'm going to take the advice that you gave me at the end of our last trial. It's not the law that counts. It's how you make the right 12 people feel about the law that matters. And so I ask you, the jury, even according to my esteemed colleague, Mr. Monroe, Steve Turner, age 17, who died a week before his high school graduation, was robbed of 6 months of his life. The defense is willing to actually admit that. But that's not the case before you, ladies and gentlemen. Not anymore. What is, however, is the question of how much longer Steve would have lived had he been given a whole new set of drugs which were developed during those 6 months. You see, the argument before you is if Steve had been given only 6 more months of life, he would have had his entire life to look forward to, 1 year at a time, one new drug at a time, and one day, maybe even a cure. Is that the door that your client wants to open?
It's theory.
And a damn good one.
Not good enough.
Well, there is one thing more. You see, my firm did some research, too. Here's a very preliminary list of 25 others who died under similar circumstances as Steve, all insured by Steadicare Insurance. I'm sure that their families would be very interested in joining a class action suit against Steadicare, along with Mrs. Turner.
I can't agree to anything that allows her to disclose the amount of any settlement or admits any wrongdoing. It's always a deal breaker.
I understand, and I'm sure that for, let's say, $2.5 million, I could convince my client of the same.
$2 million.
Done.
You might want to check this with your client.
My client knows that I do what's best for her. We have a deal?
Deal.
I'm not interested.
But $2 million, Mrs. Turner.
Look at him. That was the car he was fixing up. This is his graduation gown. Nothing's gonna bring him back. Not for a few days, even.
I understand that. They took him away from you. They are to blame. And now you can make them pay for it.
Miss Jackson, I never cared about any money. I just wanted people to know that what they did was wrong. And I want all the other mothers and fathers and brothers and their sisters who've lost a year full of memories, or like you said, maybe even a lifetime full of them, to get what they deserve. And if I can't tell anybody about what happened or how much money they paid me to forget, I'm not helping much, am I?
But Mrs. Turner, Margaret, we won.
If all this is about is how much money the death of my son is worth, I didn't win anything. Tell me, Miss Jackson, could they write a check to you for a child of yours and then tell you that they did nothing wrong? Where was their money when it could have saved my son's life?
My advice, though, Mrs. Turner, is...
Right now, I'm not interested in your advice. I can't sign it the way it is. Graham, what do you think we should do?
Collier, what is this?
It's a Jet magazine.
Yes, I can see that it is. What is it doing here?
Mary Elizabeth, you wrote buy Jet magazines on your list.
Not Jet magazines. Jet magazine. Oh, they're here. Oh, I told them to take that. Get that other paper.
Yeah.
Coming! Hi, Imani. Hi, this is my husband Collier. I'm Mary Elizabeth.
Mary Elizabeth, it's so nice to finally meet you. I'm Rene.
Oh, and nice to meet you. And these are our friends Diane and Melba, Rene, Imani. Where's Rene?
Oh, she called and said she was going to be late.
Well,
Beer's here. Hey, now. Hi, I'm Henry.
Imani.
Imani, nice to meet you. Have a beer.
Hey, bud.
How you doing, bud?
Henry, light beer again?
Oh, hell, Collier, that way I get to drink twice as much.
come on in. Living room, dining room, wherever you want to go. Make yourself at home. Hi.
Sorry.
Come on in.
She signed.
It's signed.
Well, I don't remember seeing this offer on the table.
It's your original settlement offer of $250,000.
Along with the new inclusion of an admission of liability and no confidentiality.
I thought there's always room for negotiating.
Well, that was in D.C. Well, I guess $250,000 of wrongdoing is acceptable. Hell, my firm...
I know. Your firm's bar tab is more than that.
Oh, wait. I have a little something for you. Courtesy of Fidel.
A little contraband between officers of the court?
Well, I won't tell if you won't. Sit down. Let me buy you dinner. We'll trade old war stories.
I have to go see a friend.